Thank you for listening to this PodcastOne Sportsnet production, available on Apple Podcasts and PodcastOne.
We're at the midway point in the NFL and college football season, and the stakes are higher than they've ever been. And on top of that, the NBA and NHL seasons have just begun as teams are striving for early dominance. There's only one place to get in on all the action, betonline.ag. Use promo code PODCAST1 to receive a 50% sign-up bonus when signing up. Betonline.ag, your online sportsbook experts and the exclusive partner of the PodcastOne Sportsnet.
The following program is a PodcastOne.com production.
From Hollywood, California, by way of the Broken Skull Ranch, this is the Steve Austin Show.
Give me a hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Now, here's Steve Austin.
All right, everybody, welcome to Steve Austin Show. I am coming to you from the mean streets of Los Angeles, California today. I have just got finished driving from the Broken Skull Ranch 2.0 with my family, my wife Kristen, and my two dogs, Callie and Moolah. Just rolled into 316 Gimmick Street, and it was an extravaganza of a drive. I tell you what, today's podcast, I got a good one for you. I'm going to wrap up my two-part conversation with my good friend, Dr. Tom Prichard. We're going to be talking about pro wrestling, and we're going to talk about his new wrestling school that him and Glenn Jacobs / Kane are starting in Knoxville, Tennessee. I have given you the information over and over about this school. If you're interested in a career in the business of professional wrestling, look no further, because if you're in the Knoxville area or you want to fly somewhere to learn how to work, this is a damn good place to start. Open house at D1 Sports in Knoxville, January 3rd at 7 p.m. Open house. The first class will be January 7th. All information for this school is on the website, jpwrestlingacademy.com. Check it out, man. There's a few places I would recommend you go to learn how to work. This is on the top of my list. Bottom line. Also, I want to put to bed some rumors that got started about a week or two ago when I was talking about drinking beer and being on a diet. My illustrious wife, Kristen, joins me on the podcast as we shoot the shit, talk about our trip, all the things we got going on, and I diffuse, dissect, and digest and shit out a bunch of answers about my relationship and my habits with alcohol and food and working out and DDP yoga and everything. So I'm answering all the questions and putting all the bullshit to rest. Stay tuned, because I'm going to cover that in the second half of the podcast. Want to shine that first spotlight on Dr. Tom Prichard as we continue our conversation, and then we're going to bring it home. I'm going to tell you right now, I told my wife, I said, shit, I've been on this damn eating program for about 32 days. We're going to sushi tonight to get a cheat meal. So dig the podcast. Send me a suggestion, comment, or question to questions@steveaustinshow.com if you got any kind of comments or want to ask me a question or ask me to talk to somebody, and that's the bottom line. Let's kick it up, let's start it up, and put this motherfucker in motion. Dr. Tom Prichard, Part 2. The stakes for the 2018 college football season are at their highest point right now, as Alabama, Clemson, and Notre Dame are the teams to beat. And if that's not enough tension for you, the NBA and NHL seasons have just begun as teams are striving for early dominance. The Nuggets, Raptors, and the defending champion Warriors are all starting off on a very high note. And in the NHL, the Predators and the Lightning are leading the pack with the best records. Are you looking for a place for all your online wagers? Well, look no further, because our friends at betonline.ag have got you covered. Betonline.ag is an exclusive partner of PodcastOne Sportsnet and our go-to for online sports betting. You need someone to get behind? These are the guys. Don't hesitate. Head over to betonline.ag to take advantage of the best bonuses in the business. When you're there, use promo code PODCAST1. That's PODCASTONE to receive a 50% sign-up bonus today. One more time, that's betonline.ag, and use promo code PODCAST1 to start winning with your online sportsbook experts. You looking for another safe bet when it comes to pain relief? Then hear me out about Theraworx. If you or a loved one suffer from leg or foot cramps, you know how painful and disruptive they can be. Muscle cramps can jolt you out of a sound sleep or interrupt your daily life, and that's where Theraworx enters the picture. Theraworx Relief is a non-greasy foam that's proven to relieve muscle cramps fast and reduce muscle soreness. With daily use, Theraworx Relief can even prevent muscle cramps before they start, so you can get a full night's sleep or do the activities you love. Theraworx Relief only takes minutes to apply. It absorbs quickly and it works. People love the results, and you've probably seen Dr. Drew Pinsky on TV putting Theraworx Relief over. It's that efficient and respected. The holiday season is around the corner, so if you know someone who suffers with muscle cramps or muscle soreness, get them Theraworx. Theraworx Relief is the top choice for preventing and relieving muscle cramps. Get Theraworx Relief today in the pain relief aisle at Walmart, CVS, Rite-Aid, and Walgreens, or by talking to your pharmacist. Learn more at TheraworxRelief.com. That's THERAWORX Relief.com. Check it out.
This is the Steve Austin Show.
I want to shift gears to talk about your wrestling school that you're about to open. Because one time we were riding down the road, and I'd ask you a million questions after we developed our relationship and our friendship. I always had a lot of respect for you. You were always very fair to me and gave me a lot of information in your time. I'll never forget. It's one of my trademark stories, which I've told a million times. But we were driving down the road, and I think you might have been driving at the time. I might have been riding shotgun, but prime time was in the back seat. And you looked at me. Maybe I was driving. You said, "Steve, what's so stunning about Stunning Steve?" And you asked Brian, primetime, what's so primetime about Brian Lee? And that was the first time, hell, I was just trying to be a pro wrestler. I wasn't thinking about a character. I wasn't thinking about a being. I wasn't thinking about my relationship with the crowd, what the crowd thought of me, who I was, that they could think of me or form an opinion of me. I was just trying to be a wrestler. I was caught up in the mechanics, the 101 stuff, and then get to the psychology, a couple different layers of that, but I wasn't a character. When you asked me that question, that was a story that I'd never forgot, and I didn't have an answer for you, because when Dutch Mantell made up Stunning Steve Austin, he had given me Steve Austin, which I rejected because I didn't want to copy the $1 Million Man, the $6 Million Man, right. And but going out, I needed a name, so that's what I come up with. So anyway, I'm Steve Austin, but dude, I go through my career, and I'm not thinking anything about being a character, and you're the first person that made me think about that. Your desire to start up this wrestling school. Do you remember that conversation first?
I actually do, yeah, because when I asked Brian, he said, like primetime Deion Sanders. I said, I don't get it. And a lot of wrestling fans may not get it either, because I don't see that in what you're saying. And I do remember that, just thinking, because that was at a stage in my career where I think if that was 91, I think it was early 90s, I'd hit 30, and I'd been wrestling for about 10, 11 years. And I think, too, at that time, Jerry Jarrett opened a wrestling school around Nashville, and I'd gone down and just helped out and just tried to teach. And you really don't know if you can teach until you do it. You don't know if you're a coach until you do it. I have my way, you have your way, but the right way and the only way does not exist. There's one way to do it. There's another way to do it. It's like ice cream, different flavors. You like Rocky Road. I like strawberries. It's all good. It's just what works. The thing with that is, all of a sudden, I know what I should have done early in my career, but I didn't do what I needed to do. And one of the things I say is you do whatever it takes. Well, I did whatever it took to get in the business, but then once I had these opportunities in front of me, I was in a bad place. What I was asking you guys is because now I've seen it through the years, and I'd heard it and watched guys change gimmicks different times. Taurus Bull was one of the guys. Juan Reynosa changed his gimmick a couple times just out of the blue. So now I started thinking, Stunning Steve, does it resonate? No. But you got to find out who you are. The ringmaster? No, it's not it. So all of a sudden, you find out, and I tell guys this all the time now too, watch movies, listen to music, read the paper, just read books, read something. You might find one thing out of 20 movies or 30 books or a million songs, but you hear that one thing that resonates. And that's pretty much what happened with you, right? I mean, you guys are sitting there watching TV and... Yep. And all of a sudden, falls into place. Well, then you find out who you really are, because that's who you really are. You're a redneck from Texas who likes to drink beer. And you're not a bad guy. Even at this stage of your life, again, that's what makes you you, with that uniqueness of understanding how much of an influence you are on this business to this day. And yet you can still understand what it's like when you first started. And I think, again, it doesn't matter what you say to people, but they'll always remember how you made them feel. And that's not everybody has that quality or ability to do that. That's a huge thing in wrestling, is communicating with people, communicating with your fans, with your audience. And during the 90s, man, you took it by storm. Once you became Stone Cold Steve Austin, And once things fell into place, my God, you were the first guy to work with Vince McMahon. Think about that. If I can tell a story real quick about Vince, because we used to train. He wanted to train sometimes at 11 o'clock at night just for this match with you, and he was going to get juice. I don't know if it was the first match or second match, but I had to make his blade that night. So I'm making Vince McMahon's first blade, and he's never done it in his life. Okay? And he's working with the hottest superstar in the business at that time. So he gets juiced during the match, and I come back, and I would never go into Vince's office, never unless I was really needed to go there. I didn't really need to go there, but I was so happy for him that he got used the blade that night. And I went back, I said, what a job, that was great. He goes, I never had to use it. I said, what do you mean? He goes, no, he cracked me hard way. Look at here. And look on the top of his head, he hit him with the chair, split him wide open. But, that was the kind of guy he was. He was ready for the blade, but once you hard weighed him, he didn't need it, I guess.
You were the guy that was training Vince back in the day when I was working with him?
I'm the guy, man.
I never knew that.
Oh, I thought you did. My
No.
God, go to the studio and again, I had just moved to Stanford too, not that long, maybe a year, 2 years, I guess. Whenever you worked with him the first time, I don't remember the year, but we would come to the studio where that ring was, and they hated us there because of all the bumps. But sometimes he would want to train at 11 o'clock at night because he'd been working all day. So I was on Titan time back then, and I worked with the boss. And in fact, we even, for the cage match where he took the bump on the table, we measured that out at the studio, and he got up on the cage, had the cage on the ring and everything. We measured it, and we put the bump pads and everything else. He took the bump. I think he took it like 3 times, said, I've got it. And sure enough, during the match, he bounced on the table, didn't break. But that
was in Memphis at the Pyramid, and I remember that St. Valentine's Day Massacre, and he told me about taking that bump, and I didn't have any knowledge of it until that day. And I said, okay, so here's how it's going to go down, and I was going to bounce his head off that top of that cage, and he was going to spring back and land on that table. Now, had he landed just 6 to 9 inches further in towards the center of that table in that sweet spot, he'd have been just fine. Yeah. But he didn't. He kicked as hard as he could, but he landed right on the edge, that spine of that table, which is the worst place that you could land.
Yeah.
Dude, I was up there on that cage. I saw his head whip down. It was like I was watching it in slow motion.
Right.
It was like the cell, my cell on his bump was like a chute. I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, are you shitting me?
Yeah.
Did this just happen? My question to you is, and I give Vince all the credit in the world because I don't know what your relationship is with the man, but and mine is good. I just always respected the fact that Vince would do absolutely anything to give the fans their money's worth. He wouldn't ask anybody to do something that he wouldn't do himself. And he wasn't a natural-born athlete. I know his dad never really wanted him to be inside the squared circle. He wanted, he barely let him get into to promote. The only reason he let him get into business was he was having a hard time promoting Bangor, Maine, and he said, if you can go make that town a success, I'll let you into business. So he damn sure never wanted him to work inside the squared circle. So my question to you, in trying to teach the boss, the greatest, to me, probably the greatest promoter that ever lived, what's the protocol, the etiquette, the how does it go down when you're trying to teach the guy who owns it all how to frickin' work?
Yeah, it was great, but it was, you're right, he's not a natural athlete. But you know how Vince can be very empathetic and understand you and be on your level. You know how he's talking to you like he's that cool Vince.
Yep.
And then you got the boss Vince. Well, during the studio he was that cool Vince. And but then he can be boss Vince when he wants to be too, obviously. But working, man, all we really did was lock up, and we took some headlocks over. He's grabbing my arm and he's wanting to throw punches, and man, oh man, I'm covering up, but he's knocking the living shit out of me, which is all right. That's what I was there for. I remember he even gave me a couple stunners. I don't know if he ever gave you a stunner in the match or not, but he wanted to try a couple stunners too. I do remember that very well. We went over that with him, but it was a very cool thing, man, because the people who haven't had the opportunity to meet with Vince and be one-on-one with him, and trust me, I haven't had that many. I've had maybe five real one-on-ones where it's personal, talk, which he does with anybody who has the time to sit with him and get to know him. I think he'll take that time with pretty much anybody. Basically, he would show up, we'd get in the ring, he'd stretch out, and then he'd start stretching ropes, and then I would just start circling, and he'd start circling. said, all right, come on, pal. Let's do it. And just playing around when we lock up, man. You locked up with him, and he's not the easiest guy to maneuver. No, and he doesn't realize that, but he has that performer's ego, he has that performer's heart, and that's where he really wants to be. So I respect the hell out of him too for doing it. I respect the whole family, man. Shane, Stephanie as well. The only one I hadn't gotten in the ring with is Linda. And I think she's doing just fine. But yeah, it was a very cool thing because, like I said, sometimes we'd be there late at night, and I'm wondering, like, when the hell are we going to finish up, man? And he just kept going and going. So that's part of his work ethic that you got to respect.
And the thing about working with Vince, going back to that St. Valentine's Day Massacre at the Pyramid, the guy goes to sling me into the cage. And dude, if you and me are working and I'm going to run you into the cage, I'm going to grab the back of your neck, maybe just a handful of hair or whatever in the back, but I'm just going to basically guide you. And there's going to be a little bit of force, but you're going to take your own bump. We got out there that night. It was sold out. That crowd was red hot. They were ready to see Stone Cold and Vince McMahon in a cage match. And boy, I guarantee you know how it is when you walk out there, dude. I mean, like that was your happy place. And when that place, blew for me, that was my happy place. And, we just live and die for that. But I'll tell you what, the adrenaline was in Vince so much. He basically ragdolled me. And it's that kind of, it's like, God damn, dude, let me take my own bump. But he would throw me so hard, I couldn't take a proper bump for him.
Yeah. Now, he did give me turnbuckles, and I told him to stop dragging, but I guess he never got it, man. So, yeah.
So when are you going to start the wrestling school up? And tell me about this love to teach, because, not everybody makes a good teacher. Obviously, you do, and you're a huge mentor on me in my career. So tell me about the need or the interest to start up this wrestling school.
Well, what happened was Glenn Jacobs Kane was running for mayor, and this has been about 2 years in the making. He came to me one time and said, all these guys are opening up wrestling schools, and I've got this house in Dandridge, and it's just sitting there. I'm wondering if we can put a ring in the garage and maybe have people stay at the house, and just come from the house, go to the garage, train, and start something, start a school. And I said, I don't think so, man. I don't know. We went down and looked at the garage, and it was too small. So there's a guy by the name of Devin Driscoll here in Knoxville. He owns a place called D1 Sports. I trained him to wrestle about 10 years ago, and he and a guy named Mick Drake are a tag team. Booker T loves him. Diamond Dallas Page gave him his finisher. So they're going all over the country working this stuff. But he owns D1 Sports here in Knoxville, and it's a beautiful gym. And he said, man, I would love to have a program here at D1. So we got together, Glenn and I, and talked to Devin, and we came up with this idea. And starting January 7th in Knoxville, I'm going to have a 16-week course. So go January 7th through April 26th at D1 Sports Complex in Knoxville, Tennessee. We have an open house January 3rd at D1, where everybody can come out at 7 o'clock, and we're going to talk about the wrestling school and what to expect and answer any questions they have. Because it's you paid for a wrestling school in Texas, right?
Correct.
And like you said, you had 25 people, one ring, 2 instructors, 1 day a week, 2 days a week.
1 day a week.
Well, this is going to go 5 days a week. I'm going to be the instructor. We have a limit on 20 people. We have a 20 by 20 ring coming, which is the size of WWE, WWF. I keep saying WWF, WWE ring, and most of the major companies. We also, here's what we're going to offer. I'm going to have, let me turn this off.
Tom Prichard owes everybody on my podcast a beer. Please keep going.
There we go. Thank you. Okay. Like I said, 5 nights a week, Monday through Friday, we're going to go 6 to 10 p.m. We're going to have 1 hour scheduled for strength and conditioning by this guy, Kyle Hayes, who used to be a former NXT trainer in Orlando. His brother, Sean, still trains in Orlando. Kyle's a real good guy. Just to help people stretch out, you get the strength and conditioning program, the same thing they're doing for NXT. And then we're going to have 3 hours of wrestling. We're going to have 1 night a week for the character development, like you were talking about, what makes you you? Why would you connect, or how would you connect with anybody? Why would anybody care about what you do, and how does that happen? So I'm going to be doing the training. After 16 weeks, you'll get a certificate saying you completed 16 weeks of professional wrestling training under my guidance. And everything, all the information that you need to know, and you can contact us at jpwrestlingacademy.com. It has the pricing. It has the address for D1 in Knoxville. We invite anybody from out of town to come down and just see what we're about. There's plenty of hotels. There's a Visit Knoxville video on the front page. Our webmaster's done and did a real good job with it. But starting January 7th, the first class will go through April 26th, 5 nights a week. That's about it, man. jpwrestlingacademy.com.
Going back to my first days trying to learn the business in Gentleman Chris Adams School, he had one other guy, a Spanish wrestler named Chico, a little bit more on the luchador side of the game, but a great instructor for tumbling and just learning how to bump. We were there on Saturday mornings right after that television taping, and I think the class lasted about 2 hours. There was one ring. It was about, I think it's probably about an 18-footer back in the day. It could have been 20. I think it was 18.
Yeah.
And there was 25, 30 of us with 2 instructors and one ring. So one ring is fine, when you're trying to just, going, from turnbuckle to turnbuckle with your tumbling drills, taking a flat back, stuff like that. But 2 hours. So what you've got going, and this is only 1 day a week. As you know, Tom, when I went to that USWA territory, and you're working a minimum of 5 to 6 times a week, 7 if you're lucky and get a chance to work at Sunday, you really pick up things a lot faster just because of the repetition. Just repetition and working out there, you always got to change your shit up because, some of the marks are following you from town to town. So the fact that you've got 4 hours of class, 1 strength and conditioning, 3 in the ring, and you're doing character development, and you're doing it 5 days a week is awesome. Because if you're trying to learn the business like I did, 1 lesson a week, splitting time with 2 instructors with 25 people, dude, that was the drizzling shits. Now, it got me in, and Chris Adams was a great trainer. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying the good thing about what you're doing is, first of all, I ain't blowing smoke up your ass. You're an awesome teacher. You're an awesome coach. You know the ins and outs of the business, psychology, character, mechanics, everything. But you just got to have that repetition. And I think, to me, not only just with the instruction, but just the repetition and the frequency is everything when you're trying to learn the business.
It really is, and we're going to do our best also as soon as these guys are done. We have connections to help them get booked around here up in, I think it's Cleveland, and around the Georgia area too. So, we know everybody, we figure everybody who comes and wants to listen to what we have to say, they're looking to find out how to break into professional wrestling. So if anything, I think this is the best opportunity to come out and check us out. So again, the open house is January 3rd and we start January 7th. So I just hope everybody who hears this and everybody gets a chance to check it out.
What kind of thought have you put in just to, as far as the curriculum? Because like when I first learned, dude, it was, learning how to take a flat back bump, some tumbling. And then a little bit later, we started a little bit of chain wrestling, although very little of it. So, is it going to be kind of like along those lines, or?
Well, here's the thing. You're right. You have to have repetition, but you have to crawl before you walk. But you need to learn how to walk in the ring. You need to learn how to lock up. And we're going to go from the beginning to the end. We're going to go from the basics and get fundamentals. In 16 weeks, you're not going to learn everything. That's where starting wrestling in front of crowds and going to shows is going to help you, because that's really where you learn. I actually wrote a curriculum and published it, but I told, when I was asked before in my previous job to write a curriculum, I explained that that's really not the way this business is learned. It's really not the way that's done, because I was training the developmental guys and I didn't want to go cookie cutter. Here's the other thing I found as a teacher. Some days it's not clicking. Sometimes, if you're trying to take a hip toss, you're trying to do just a simple move, a takeover. That's not really that hard, but something's missing. Something's not happening. Don't dwell on it. Let's move on to something else. And that, I think, takes a feeling as well as a coach and a teacher, because it's worked for me. If we move away from it today and we come back to it either tomorrow or the next day, chances are you'll get it, because you would have thought about it and watched it back on film and tape and figured out a different way to do it. But Nobody takes a hip toss like Harley Race except Harley Race.
Yep.
You cannot mimic stuff like that. There's just certain things that they look cool because that person makes it look cool. But for you to try it, it's not going to look the same. So I have a curriculum. We're going to start at the beginning, walking, locking up, basic fundamentals, and then we're going to build to where you can have a 15 to 20 minute match where you're going to be able to tell a story by the end of 16 weeks. Not going to be anything Briscoe Funk or Shawn Michaels Triple H. Won't be in that category after 16 weeks if you don't have any experience. But we'll get you to where you can tell a story in a wrestling match for 15 or 20 minutes. But I have a curriculum. I've got a 16-week program worked out, and but it's a living document, I like to think.
Back in the day, and you got into business before I did, but by the time I came around to USWA in 1990, we would be in Nashville at the fairgrounds. And Nashville is a facility where the heels dressed on one side of the building and the babies dressed on the other side of the building. And this is when everybody was still calling matches in the ring. And, I was totally new to the territory. And all of a sudden, Frank Morrell or that other guy, Paul, would come over and then they'd say, hey, so-and-so's going to hit you with this finish tonight, or you're going to catch something quick on so-and-so. And that was it, dude. That was all you knew going to the ring. So I'm sitting there thinking, on one hand, I was very nervous. But on the other hand, when I look back, I didn't have anything to remember. There was nothing to forget because I had nothing to remember. So, as green as I was, and I was only Steve Austin, and I would become Stunning Steve Austin. But, if I'd had a character back then, I could have totally been that character because I wasn't trying to remember move after move after move. The business has changed. It's sped up. And so is baseball. Baseball slowed down, but the athletes are better athletes. Pro football is just played at light speed now. It's almost like a video game. What are your thoughts on and this is not an indictment on the system, this is just the way pro wrestling / sports entertainment has evolved. Going back from the days, and like you were saying, coming up on stuff in late 60s and 70s, and I told you yesterday on the phone, my favorite period was that mid-80s, Mid-South NWA style. But what are your thoughts on the way the business has evolved into really no high spots, into a couple of high spots, into, 93 Steamboat, Savage, and Attitude Era, coming out of that great stuff from the mid-'80s. And now, with short attention span theater, the guys and gals are such tremendous athletes, much more athletic than we were, but the business has sped up as well. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it is inevitable that the world is going to change. We have to accept that.
Yes.
But one thing I do not believe will ever go away are the fundamentals and basics. It's still blocking and tackling when you come right down to it. Football can change, baseball can change. Everything's going to change, no doubt, because people demand faster, newer, brighter, shinier, give me something new. They are better athletes, no doubt, but they're missing the things that we had because those things don't exist anymore. They're missing the veteran who's at the end of his leg or at the end of his time, working with you every night, telling you when to slow down. Now come up. Now, no, too fast, and then back down. They're missing that because it doesn't exist anymore. So you can't fault them necessarily. I enjoy watching some aspects and elements of the business, knowing what I know about the system. It's a great system for lack of any other system to go to. In other words, the system of driving in the cars and every night, working in the same towns every night, doing angles every night, just does not exist because it's not the same model that we grew up watching and grew up in. So I don't want to be one of those guys who say, back in my day, kid, it was so much. Well, it was more of my taste because that interested me. If I watched it today, I don't know who or what would make me want to do this. Would it be the lights, the glamour, the glitz? I don't know, man, because there wasn't a whole lot of shiny stuff watching West Texas and East Texas wrestling. It was just some badass, crazy-looking guys coming to the ring. Now it's more better-looking athletes, no doubt. Better in shape, no doubt. Is there feeling there? At times, yes. But there's other times when I'm not so convinced. And I think you should be able to convince everybody all the time.
Here's a question for you. Going through everything that you've been through, the highs and lows, How long did you last in the ring, Tom? How long was your career actively?
Actively, I think in '96 when I kind of because I just had a match this year, which is terrible, and it was horrible because I damn sure can't work. Basically 16 years, I guess, because in '96 is when I really stopped. I started training guys in August of '96, so that's 16.
Okay, I made about 13. I guess I add in there a period for neck fusion. So I don't know, solid, from start to finish, I don't even know exactly how long I lasted. But when I got out of the business, I was forced to retire. When I got out, I was 38. I wasn't ready to retire. I was ready to keep going. All I wanted to be in my life was a pro wrestler. And here I was one, and then I had to ride off into the sunset. So once I got out of the business, I didn't have an exit strategy. I was no different than so many of the other guys. And, a lot of guys get caught up in the wheels of the grind and they're no longer with us. So it took me kind of 3 years personally, actually. I've said this before, but I mean, hell, man, I just hunted and fished and drank a whole lot just to kind of, I didn't have anything to fill that void. When you got out of the business, dude, I mean, because like you were talking about at the beginning of the podcast, I mean, you're wired pretty different if you want to do something extreme, like be MMA fighters. You're wired a little bit different.
Yeah.
Pro wrestlers, wired a little different. Truck drivers, I mean, anything to a degree, or really in general, I guess, wired specifically for that task. So guys like us, when you come off that, that adrenaline rush, the gypsy lifestyle, the rock and roll lifestyle, everything that goes with it, sometimes living like a friggin' Trojan, and then it's gone. How did you, what I call it is returning into being a civilian again. Now I'm not one of the boys anymore, I'm a civilian. How long did it take you to return to, whatever is normal for Tom Prichard?
Well, yeah, see, because I never really had a normal life. That's the whole thing. That was a hard part because I tapered off in '96, and that's when I wasn't wrestling full time anymore. I started training, going on the roads, wrestling with the guys, working with the guys. I was training sometimes. So even when I got released, because I was still training the guys, so I was still in, but I got released, twice. And this last time, it took me a little longer because I was so used to being around it and so used to doing what I was doing. And it took me good, probably about 3 years too, because you're not calling everybody. I stayed in touch with a couple people from there, but then again, when you don't see everybody all the time, you don't talk all the time, man. It's just everybody gets busy doing things. And, it is one of those things, even to this day, you're still wired different just for the fact of what you've done. And I think about that. I never really had a normal life, no matter what, growing up or eventually when I got to, especially when Mark Lewin came into my life, I thought, oh my God, Jesus, if this is the way it's going to be. But Lewin, because he was so far out there and I knew about him and King Curtis, he would tell stories about King Curtis and he would tell stories about the cookie. Those memories really haven't left me. I still consider myself, again, like you said as well, you're still part of the business because it's just something that's in you. As long as you're alive, I think that's going to be a part of it. Maybe not the main part anymore, but at the same time, it was something so much ingrained in me for all my life that I don't think I'll ever fully get that feeling out of me.
Man, I had some high times and low times on the road like a lot of the guys did. And then, finally I got out of the business. And the woman I ended up marrying was never a professional wrestling fan. And she was a special education teacher. And some of her students brought a calendar to class. And she saw me in the gym and asked my buddy, my training partner who ran the gym, hey, is that Stone Cold guy? And he, yeah, we train together. And she said, do you think he'll come read to my students? Well, I don't know. Ask him. Anyway, 14 years later, we're together. One of the greatest things that ever happened to me. As we were trying to get set up for this podcast, I heard your wife in the background. How long have you been married?
We'll be married 18 years December, man.
Holy cow! How'd you do that?
I was a member of the He-Man Woman Haters Club for the longest time. I really was. You saw my picture everywhere. But it's a funny story. She's the Dirty White Girl's sister. I hadn't seen her in years, and then one night I was calling the Dirty White Boy from Stamford. I was in Connecticut downtown Stanford, if that tells you anything, at the Biltmore, right across from the Stanford Mall. Have you been to the Stanford Mall?
Yeah, I think I have.
I think you have to. Anyway, but so I'm right down there, if that gives you any idea where I'm at. And I called Tony's house, and she answered the phone because she was staying with Tony and Kim. She had been in a bad marriage, and so anyway, I started talking to her, and I thought, she sounds nice, and she's like 27 at that time. And I thought, why don't we get together one night? And she's in Tennessee, and I'm in Stanford. Well, I flew in a weekend, flew in on a Friday, had to fly out to go to the towns on a Sunday. I was working TVs at that time as a producer / agent. How about that? Anyway, so we met, we hooked up, and we, after about 2 years of long distance relationship, I said, hey, I'll be in Charlotte December 20th. You want to get married next day, or December 19th, whatever it was. I flew because we got married because I was in proximity to the town in true wrestler fashion. So we got married, man, in 18 years. This is probably the best one. You're right. It takes a special one to be with somebody like this.
So she had an understanding of the business before she got into it, though.
Yeah, she did, and but she wasn't really aware of the extracurricular activities necessarily, and so she thought when she saw me it was just a weekend thing. When she didn't understand, no, this was pretty much a lifestyle, and then that kind of, but she didn't leave me. That was a good thing. So I guess because she's been with me this long, she's probably the best thing to happen to me, because I would have been dead a long time ago.
You really think so?
I wasn't planning
down a deep hole.
I wasn't planning to live to 30. I mean, Jake says that a lot, and other people say that a lot. But there was a time when it got pretty sticky.
What'd you do to come out of all that?
My wife, it was one of those nights where she was in Tennessee and I was in Stanford, and I fell asleep on the phone, and she didn't know what was going on. So here come the ambulance and took me to Stanford Hospital. The next day, Shane called me and says, you have 15 minutes to pack a bag. You're going to Atlanta. I said, no, I got to go to King of the Ring in Fresno. He says, no, you're going to Atlanta. So I went to Atlanta, and they put you in a special place there. And 2 weeks later, Eddie Guerrero showed up. I said, oh, thank God you're here, man, because I'm going crazy. And so we spent that summer in Atlanta. It was at TRC, Talbot Recovery Campus. And I had to spend another little bit of time, too. But, that's what I'm saying, man. Sometimes you get caught up in things, and you don't know you're in that rat race until all of a sudden a bigger rat passes you, and you go, oh, my God.
Yeah, it's an interesting business with a lot of interesting things that you can get yourself into. Last question. You and your wife have known each other for obviously a long time. The few people that you are close with, are you like me? Like my wife, we don't speak carny to each other, but she knows kayfabe. She knows my basic general wrestler's vocabulary. And it's like when I'm talking with someone who's never been around the business of wrestling, I can talk without using wrestling terms, but I find that I like using them. Like my longtime friend Ted Fowler down at my ranch, he knows, if I say, dude, is that a shoot? He knows that, is that real?
Right.
So there's a few people that I, they may know 5 or 10 words, whereas my wife probably knows 20. Are you like that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Isn't it nice?
Yeah, it is. That's how I knew this one was a keeper, because you just, when I said, hey, would you give me that gimmick over there, please? Yeah. She knows exactly what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Hey, how about that Fernum over there? Yeah. How about that Snavis by the Quay?
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, she gets it, man. So, I mean, she would have left me a long time ago. She didn't. I'm convinced.
Tom, it was good catching up with you. I know that neither of us are actually, phone call every single week kind of guys, but definitely like to stay in touch with you. And once you guys get the wrestling school up and running, man, if you want to come back on the show, dude, and talk about it and give us a progress report, man, I'd love to have you back on.
Yeah, that sounds great. I really appreciate you having me on. I've been wanting to talk to you for a while too, but I'm happy for everything, man. That you have the opportunity, like I said, to go hunt and to have the freedom to do whatever you want to do is a great thing, man. Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Tom, best of luck with the wrestling school, and I'm going to, in my open, I'll cover everything as well, and in my close, I'll cover everything as well. But anyway, hey, Tom, good talking with you, and best of luck with that school.
Brother, I appreciate it. Thank you, Steve.
Alexa isn't the only one with breaking news. Make sure to hang around at the end of this podcast for the latest breaking headlines on the AP News Minute.
The hit podcast Zane's World found a new home on PodcastOne.
La Gonzalina. Probably should have corrected that before the show.
World traveler, author, and alcohol aficionado Zane Lamprey is well learned in the art of embracing a good time as he reviews the best attractions and destinations on the globe.
So we went to Black Market Liquor Bar.
Just tell us what you remember.
That's what I remember.
Check out Zane's World every Tuesday on PodcastOne or wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
This is the Steve Austin Show.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the podcast. Just wrapped up my conversation with Dr. Tom Prichard talking about all things professional wrestling and the fact that him and Kane, Glenn Jacobs, opened up a wrestling school over there in Knoxville, Tennessee. Shit, I'm going to fly down there and put on a seminar, Kristen. Let's talk about our day. Good morning. Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm great, Steve. We made it back to Marina Del Rey safe.
God damn, we're both about halfway lit. I mean haggard. I don't mean high or drunk. And we'll talk about that in a minute. All the damn rumors been floating around on the damn internet. I wanted to clear some shit up. Hell, we got up about 4 a.m. this morning and started guzzling down coffee. Threw all our shit in the Yukon XL and hauled ass. Running radar. We took it pretty easy, made good time. Yeah, well, here's the thing. Callie, our black lab, she's a year and a half old, and she's always used to going everywhere with me, so I always put her in the shotgun seat. Well, when we get ready to come home as a family unit, I like when my wife rides shotgun because she can sit there and navigate. We can have a conversation and all that stuff, and every now and then she'll try to take a little cat nap on me. But when Callie gets in there, Moolah loves to lay back on her bed. Moolah will sleep the entire way. So, Kristen, we got that Yukon XL, and you can fold those seats down, and you can fold the one seat up. It's like a jump seat. So that's Kristen's seat, the passenger seat behind the shotgun seat.
It's like 2 feet wide.
2 feet wide. She's back here with Moolah on her left-hand side in her big-ass bed.
Splayed out in her bed.
And then Callie's riding shotgun with me, and Kristen puts a little blanket in there so her head can get up there on the console, and she's just sleeping her full head off. And it looks like I'm driving Miss Daisy. I'm carrying on a conversation. People are like, man, who the fuck is he talking to?
Well, people wonder why I'm sitting in the back seat.
Yeah, man, I feel like a Uber driver or a limo driver or something.
Long-distance Uber driver.
But God dang, we made good time, and, man, we were hauling ass, and, man, we didn't want to leave. Kristen just got her brand new horse.
He's not brand new.
No, he's brand new to you.
Yes, he is.
He's 23 years old. He's a Missouri Foxtrotter. Enlighten the listeners up about a Missouri Foxtrotter.
In my limited information about the Missouri Foxtrotter is they're a gaited horse, and they have a special trot that is a lot smoother, especially for people with back issues. So I got lucky because I do have back issues, and he's a smooth ride. So.
And the best thing is he was free. The people gave him to us.
Yeah, usually a free horse never means free. So it's really not technically free because I already paid for his physical. I have to get a farrier to come out and take a look at his hooves and get his feet, his teeth looked at. So it's technically not free, but I didn't pay for his...
We didn't pay for him. We got him for free.
Yeah.
You go, well, we'll do our due diligence. It's almost like having a new pet.
Yeah.
It's like, like you think, okay, I called my buddy, my doctor down there in San Antonio, Jimmy, and I said, hey, Jimmy, is a 23-year-old horse too old? He goes, oh, hell no, Steve, they'll live a long time. He goes, man, that's a good horse.
And he is a good horse.
Oh, he's got good training.
Yeah.
He's really mannered. He's mild. We love him.
Yeah.
But, most time when you think, okay, when they said that they were going to give us a horse, I'm like, okay, what's the catch? This motherfucker ready for the glue factory or what? And the horse lovers all around the world are shrieking in horror. I would hate to think that. But, you think of something's wrong with him.
Well, he was left behind, and the people couldn't care for him any longer, and he needed a new home. So, welcome, Rebel.
I'm not going to pat myself on the back, Barry Horowitz style, but I just rescued a horse. I made my wife happy.
Yep.
I'm a husband of the year. Man, I didn't feel like leaving Nevada. You come back, goddamn, we was hauling ass. We screeched in.
Well, first of all, when we left, it was 11 degrees.
It was 11 degrees. Hell, it's 83 outside.
Yeah.
I went from freezing my ass off in shorts, wearing a Carhartt and an underneath jacket and a base layer, to coming back here and we was both riding in the Yukon, both got our jackets still on. It's hotter than a motherfucker.
My Ugg boots on, a big fleece jacket, and we get here, it's 84 degrees.
I went from looking like an idiot wearing shorts in Nevada to an idiot wearing a heavy-ass camouflage jacket in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
I'm batting 1,000. As soon as we came in, man, I started busting in all the damn suitcases, coolers, backpacks, get my sound gear up to record the back half of the podcast after my conversation with Dr. Tom Prichard. And sure enough, my wife hears a trademark sound, and I'm kind of about halfway deaf, and she looks at me and she goes, oh, no. I'm thinking, man, what the fuck happened? She goes, your dog. And it was a splash. We came home, and Callie is like a psycho for water, and she had to jump right in the swimming pool.
Yep.
And normally all of our older dogs wait for us to give them permission to go in the pool, but Callie don't give a fuck. Whenever she wants to go in, she jumps in the pool. So, of course, she jumps in, makes a couple laps around the hot tub, jumps in the big pool, just starts swimming around like a shark. And then she comes in and waits by the door. So I dried her little ass off and brought her back inside. But
she deserved to swim.
She deserved to swim. She was a good dog.
Yeah.
But anyway, now that we're all settled here in the house, I want to go ahead and take a little bit more time to address in depth all of the bullshit rumors that started on the interweb a week or two ago.
Interweb?
Internet. Same shit. Web, website, internet. It's shit. It's kind of like a Randy Macho Man Savage thing. He's called it, what do you call it? The Interscope or the TV scope or whatever it was. All the damn rumors came out all of a sudden, said, man, shit, Stone Cold Steve Austin has given up all alcohol and started smoking medicinal marijuana and all kinds of horse shit. Here's it. I had so many headlines, and I'll read this one. This was from thefix.com. Stone Cold Steve Austin gives up trademark beer chugging. The legendary WWE star has given up alcohol and taken up yoga. It goes on to say Stone Cold Steve Austin announced on his podcast, The Steve Austin Show, that he has given up beer. The WWE wrestler announced to fans that he's doing it for his health, that he hasn't had a drink in over 2 weeks. And it goes on to quote me, and at that time I hadn't drinking in 14 days. At this point in time, I haven't drinking in, 32 days. And then it says also, quitting beer isn't the only way the WWE legend is boosting his health. He also told listeners he started Diamond Dallas Page's DDP yoga program. Okay, it goes on to say about no alcohol, hitting the weights, doing my yoga, doing my weights. He also told listeners about another change, though one that's less in the interest of his health and more about trying something new, medical marijuana. I went on to share a story about when I borrowed a joint from somebody and we passed through the Sierra Blanca check station and I could smell that damn dope in that damn cabinet like a damn bloodhound. And I'm thinking, man, we going down. We getting busted for one fucking joint. Anyway, I tried the damn joint. I tried to smoke dope a time or two way back in my wrestling days. It wasn't shit. Wasn't my cup of tea. But back to the alcohol. I never told nobody. Kristen, how long have I been doing this podcast? 5 years?
Yep.
Over probably almost 550 episodes?
Well, people like to take snippets of what you say and make a story out of it. So you quit alcohol, took up pot, and
Start doing yoga.
Pretty soon you're going to be a vegan.
Yeah.
Driving a Prius. So
There's a lot of things I'm not going to do. One of them is driving a damn Prius.
What about a smart car?
Oh, man. We was coming in on the damn, what was it, the 5 or the 405 earlier, and I got behind a Hyundai Accent and a smart car, and I'm like waiting back behind both of them. I'm thinking, one of these motherfuckers has got to get out of the way, and I figured, okay, the Hyundai Accent has got to have a little more oomph than that smart car, so I get behind the Accent. Then the smart car decides to ease
Pedaling
off.
away.
Yes, I put my damn blinker on, changed lanes, sashayed around that motherfucker and hauled ass and passed the smart car too.
Anyway,
left most of my trail of dust.
Back to the rumors.
Yeah, back to the rumor. Hell, man, I ain't give up no damn alcohol. Kristen, how long have we known each other?
Since 2004.
How many times have I quit drinking alcohol?
Every time you go on a diet.
Okay, why'd I quit every time I go on a diet?
So you can lose some lbs.
So I can lose some lbs. It's common sense. Let's go into the macros. I talked about these last Tuesday just for a split second. Right now, I'm taking in about 2,700 calories a day. I mark it all on my Chronometer app, which I highly suggest to anybody if you're on an eating program. Tracks all your macros, protein, carbs, and fats. And I'm in within 150 calories plus or minus of 2,700 calories. So I'm dropping weight. So, Kristen, if I'm taking in 2,700 calories of protein, carbs, and fat, and I'm trying to be at a caloric deficit, is there room for a bottle of wine, calorically?
Absolutely not.
Is there room for 3 Broken Skull Ranch margaritas?
Really, absolutely not.
Is there room for 2 or 3 Broken Skull IPAs?
Nope.
There ain't room for shit.
I feel like I'm on Jeopardy.
Yeah. My wife loves Jeopardy. She loves Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune. And those shows are so old. They just renewed both of those shows for big money.
Oh, good.
There was like a bidding war for them. And my wife always turns those things on, and I'm like,
I only turn them on when you're not in the house because I know you get irritated.
That Jeopardy, that theme song, I dare it. Let Metallica redo that motherfucker, or Black Label. Dun, 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 dun. Anyway, there ain't no room in my diet for alcohol at this point in time. I didn't swear off alcohol forever. Why in the fuck would I do that? I enjoy alcohol responsibly as an adult, and so therefore I will probably drink until my final day on earth. But when I'm trying to meet a deadline, if I'm trying to get in shape, then I've got to eliminate the alcohol if I want to burn fat. Because if you do drink alcohol, you're probably going to go in a caloric surplus. You're probably going to get the munchies. You lose the inhibitions. You'll start raiding the refrigerator. I've been there and I've done that. And if you drink alcohol jumps into the front of the queue in front of fat to be burned off first because your body treats it as a poison. So, ding, 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 ding. Hello, McFly. That's why the fuck I stopped drinking alcohol temporarily. Temporarily. 5-syllable words. I ain't gonna quit drinking for the rest of my life. Kristen, I'm in the beer business. Do you know as this podcast drops on November 15th, it is the official 3-year anniversary of the creation and release of Broken Skull IPA, a collaboration of myself and El Segundo Brewing Company. 3 years. The beer is highly successful. It's the best damn IPA in the United States of America. I'll never forget when I met Rob Croxall. We started talking. We enjoyed each other's company, and we were on the same page. And then we sat down over a table, just the two of us, and there was 12 to 15 beers there. And as we started tasting those beers back and forth, I was telling Rob how I like this, too much IBUs here. This one rolls on too fast. This lingers too much. I don't speak technical beer language, but I didn't need to because Rob understood what I was saying. He had a legal pad and a pen, and he was writing shit down. So we finished up the session. I got an Uber ride home because I wasn't in no shape to drive. Rob went back to his house, which is only a few blocks away, and put together the formula for Broken Skull IPA. We went down. I helped mix all the ingredients. We brewed it. And about 3-4 weeks later, we was ready to try that shit out. And I was nervous, trepidatious when I went in there because I'm a little bit of a perfectionist. And I'm thinking, man, if this shit ain't right, I ain't going to put my name on it. It might take us 7 or 8 goes at this. It might take us 2 years to finally come up with a formula that I love. I drank that fucking beer, and I had to kind of just double check because it was so damn good. I didn't want to jump the gun. And I looked over at Rob, and I said, that's a good fucking beer.
No, you said that's a good damn beer.
No, I didn't. I said, that's a good fucking beer. This is the Unleashed show.
Uh-oh.
And I said, hang on. I took one more pull. I said, man, that's a good fucking beer. And it was labeled. He had 2 test batches, and this was labeled when they were doing the research on it as 231. So this was kayfabe batch 231, which was going to be Broken Skull IPA if I approved it. And so anyway, I went home and I slept on it for a little bit, and I woke up the next day and I called Rob and I said, you know what? I said, man, we could probably try to play with things a little bit, but I think we'll fuck it up. I said, well, let's go with that formula. And Rob, direct quote to me, he goes, Steve, he goes, I'm glad you said that because if you hadn't said that, I was going to use it for another beer. That's how good it is. So anyway, long story short, to get back to the subject at hand, I'm in the beer business. I drink beer. I love beer. I'm well known for drinking beer on television in a former life as Stone Cold Steve Austin. I think you should drink all alcoholic beverages or anything that's going to alter your personality with moderation and be safe. I just, on a podcast 1 or 2 ago, I dropped my Broken Skull Ranch margarita formula, a formula that was probably, 10, 12 years in the making.
Probably so.
Because we've been brewing those things up ever since we owned the ranch. Yeah. And I can make chicken salad out of chicken shit any old day of the week. You can bring some of that sorry-ass margarita mix and give me some Patron Silver or whatever the fuck it is, some low-grade dog shit tequila, and I can make it taste pretty damn good. But I handcrafted this bitch. Dude emailed me. I've been getting a lot of emails talking to me and complimenting me on that Broken Skull Ranch margarita mix. And I tell them all, I said, hey, man, I'm glad you like it. And I got a lot of man hours invested in that motherfucker because it ain't just, I didn't come up on that formula on the first time. That was getting that recipe, that base recipe that I gave you guys on the podcast, and then kind of tweaking it and making it my own. So, hey, to answer the question, to put all the rumors to rest, and I hate to even go down this road, but everybody started, spreading the word. My phone started ringing off the hook. Everybody was text messaging me. People were emailing me. People were sending me direct messages. And then some people were flat out upset and heartbroken that I stopped drinking beer. And I had many people who were recovering addicts saying, hey, man, congratulations on your newfound sobriety. And to those people, I say, thank you so much for caring about me. And, that was a rumor. I'm fine. I'm on a diet. That's why I quit. When you try to drop some pounds, you get down to your desired weight. Level off on the calories, throw some alcohol back in there. Don't go hog wild. But that's what we did every year down there in South Texas, Kristen. Me and Ted Fowler 361. We start off drinking the margaritas. After the hunt, we go to the Broken Skull IPA. And after 2.5 months of that, we go back to L.A., and I look in the mirror and I say, who the fuck is that? And my wife has to hear me singing the blues about that shit for 3 months while I burn it off.
Yep.
So long story short, end of story, I quit drinking temporarily to reach a goal weight. I did not quit drinking temporarily to improve my health or because I was in harm's way. And as far as the medicinal marijuana goes, I ain't a dope guy. I tried smoking some dope. Didn't like it.
A long time ago.
End of story. So now I'm like stone cold sober. Austin 420 says I just smoked a joint. Nah, that was a damn bullshit story I told about the check station, which was a true story. And that was the end of that story. And to go back down the yoga thing, a lot of people can't believe, shit, Stone Cold, the hell-raising, ass-kicking motherfucker that ever kicked ass in WWE, stomping mud holes and walking them dry. He's doing yoga? No, I ain't just doing yoga. I'm doing DDP yoga. And the thing about the DDP yoga is it's like a calisthenic workout with yoga built in. It's like Dallas took yoga and made yoga work for his program, his protocol. So then when he gives it to you, like on a 7-day free trial you can sign up for, like when Dallas came over here to 317 Gimmick Street and put me through the workout, I was using chairs and blocks to keep my balance. You modify the program to fit you. Now I don't use the chairs and the blocks, but I'm still going strong. I'm getting more flexible. I got my core strength going up. So yeah, do I do yoga? Not hot yoga, Bikram yoga, this yoga, that yoga. I do DDP yoga. It's kind of like a macho form of yoga. I dig it.
Well, and you do all sorts of exercise. You ride your beach cruiser down the beach. You ride your little bike at the ranch. You do all sorts of different types of cardio. So, yeah, I mean, it's just you integrate all forms of exercise into your regimen,
Yeah, now that I'm not drunk all the time, I can actually get in shape. Man, I took my wife on this hike the other day. We started hiking.
Oh, my gosh.
In Nevada, man. There's a couple trailheads not too far down the road from our house. So we'll go out there and we'll start walking up. I told Kristen, I said, man, I got to take you to this new place I found. And she goes, well, what's the deal with it? I said, man, I really don't know if you're going to make it all the way up because we had just been in the gym that day at the ranch and she was training legs. She was doing lunges, squats, all that shit. And I said, I don't think you're going to make it up just because you already been training legs. So anyway, we jump in the 95 Ford Bronco, drive over there to this mountain. And she goes, that doesn't look that steep. I said, well, yeah, it is. Once you get up past that ledge, I said, let's see how you do. So we started taking off. We started walking. And this time, I'd already walked up the damn mountain about 3 times. And I was wearing my heart rate monitor that Dallas gave me. And I was looking at my heart rate. And it was a very refreshing form of cardio because I was getting my heart rate up to like at 140s. And I wasn't just sitting there spinning a belt on like a treadmill or something like that. And all of a sudden, man, there's some rocks, there's some shit, there's some trash, and there's some steep inclines. If you guys remember the Broken Skull Challenge way back in the day when we had Heartbreak Hill, this motherfucker make Heartbreak Hill look like it was a damn hump in the road. And my wife made it about halfway up. Well, what happened? You bailed out on me.
I started getting fearful of my height, like fear of heights all the way up there. And so I'm like, I think I'm just going to walk down. Because it was like being on the edge of a cliff. It was like a 90-degree angle. And I'm trying to walk up it, looking down, going, yeah.
The rib was, we left the water in the Bronco, and I went ahead and locked the Bronco because it takes me 15 minutes to get up, and it takes me about 15 to get down. You'll take a few bumps as you come down, but the water was locked up in the Bronco, so I should have sent the keys up with you.
Yeah, and I'm standing there looking at the water through the window going, ta, ta. Like
my wife, there's something, you have this infatuation with water. When we get into the car with the Jeep Grand Cherokee to go down to the grocery store is less than a mile away. And Kristen will be out there in the car. She goes, oh, wait a minute, I got to go get some water. Like, it's less than a mile.
I carry water with me everywhere.
I know, but there's water at the fucking store.
No, I get thirsty, and I don't want to be deprived of water.
It's almost like a gimmick for you. It's almost like a crutch. You got to have it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Callie with the run-in. It's not Hershey anymore doing the run-ins and messing up the podcast. It's my black lab, Callie. I just dried her little ass off, and she's, what is this toy? Is that a potato? It's a bear? I don't know what it is, but it's too loud, and it's making too much noise, Callie. You've been grounded. No more of this. Go do something else, Callie. Are you going to go and walk with me anymore?
Up those hills?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I enjoy that. Just I can't go too far up there because I get...
Anyway, shifting gears, I figured, Kristen, in my new moment of clarity with my good memory now, because I've, kicked off the booze and I quit drinking for life, I thought my memory is going to get better. When I went hunting a few weeks ago in Unit 034 with Kristen's brother Mitch, Casey, and Royce, I told you about them guys out there spotting all them damn deer. And I had my damn binoculars. We're trying to look for these goddamn mule deer. And because I needed to turn a podcast in, and because I was so far in the middle of nowhere, I had to cut my hunt short by 1 day. So I hauled ass. And after the evening hunt on the 4th day, I threw all my shit in my trailer. I loaded up my Kawasaki Mule Pro FXT. I gathered up my gun. I grabbed my cooler, all my groceries, all my bullshit, my protein powder. Didn't take any alcohol because, remember, I had quit drinking. And so then I got my pickup truck, fired up that diesel, and hauled ass. About 300 miles, finally made it home. Man, next day I get up. I'm cleaning up my truck. I'm looking for all my shit. Got my rifle. I didn't forget that, thank God. Just leave it laying around on the side of the road. And then I start thinking, man, when I took off, I knew I had forgot something. And I'll be goddamn if I didn't lose my Leica 10x42 rangefinder binoculars. That's an expensive set of binoculars. When you get a good set of glass, that glass is supposed to last you for the rest of your lifetime. I've had those binoculars for about 12 years, and all of a sudden I can't find those motherfuckers. And then I go into my gym. It turns out I thought I was going to try to work out because I was, at the deer camp. Since I wasn't drinking, I'd be able to get a little workout in. So I took my 2 35-pound dumbbells down there to keep my swell on. I didn't touch those goddamn dumbbells the whole time, but I took them out and put them in the parking lot. Then I had my 2 6-gallon gas tanks for my Kawasaki Mule, and I forgot those motherfuckers down there. So I called my brother-in-law, Mitch. He won't answer the phone. I said, Mitch, is there any way? I said, you found my binoculars, my muffler, my gas cans, and all my shit. And he goes, man, I'm in California. I had to go take care of some business. So I'm on the damn edge of my damn seat for 5 days while he's getting back from California to find out if my binoculars are in the pickup truck or not. I knew they were, but I wasn't sure. Sure enough, he finally sent me back a text message today that he found my 35-pound dumbbells, my 2 gas cans. They're still in Winnemucca. He's going to get a friend to come bring him back. He's got my binoculars, my mufflers. And he said all the Doritos, the Cheetos, and the Fritos that I was hogging up for my snacks, he had those too. I don't give a shit about the Fritos. I need my binoculars back. I cannot believe I forgot half my shit up there.
I can.
It was the pressure trying to turn this award-winning podcast.
And I saw Callie carrying your case around, so I figured, well, why would she be carrying the case around without the binoculars?
I know I saw that case, and I'm like, okay, where's the binoculars? And I never put them in a case unless I'm traveling. Once I get them out, and then I'm done. I saw that case, and I was, okay, where are the binoculars? Okay. But anyway, I found them. They're all accounted for and all that shit. But anyway, we're going to go home now, and I'm going to come back. We are home. Well, we're at our home in Marina Del Rey. I'll tell you what, it was hard to leave there because Kristen, we have 2 horses on the property, Kristen's horse and there's a friend of ours' horse, and they're kind of starting to bond a little bit, and Kristen goes out there and does some groundwork with them, and she's starting to ride her horse. What's your horse's name?
Rebel.
Oh, Rebel. We were thinking about changing the horse's name because we didn't name it Rebel. But if you change your horse's name,
it's bad luck.
We can't have no bad luck. We got enough bad luck. If it wasn't bad luck, we wouldn't have none at all. Man, she was heartbroken having to leave Rebel today. Them 2 horses are the most spoiled-ass horses in the goddamn country.
So are these dogs.
I know, so the dogs are begging for attention. They think it's actually time to EAT. Yeah. You got to watch what you say around these motherfuckers because they can spell and they can speak Spanish and they can read sign language even. So we're going to go home. I'm going to come back and close the show. We're back in Southern California for a couple of weeks, and then, dude, I thought we was going to see all kinds of smoke from the fires, but the Santa Ana winds have pushed all the damn smoke out, so it's relatively clear out there. If you didn't know anything was going on, you wouldn't know it.
No, just the freeway is a little bit more crowded today.
Freeway was crowded as shit.
Kelly wants to be on the podcast.
I know she does. So it'll be interesting. I was planning on going out to Malibu later on this week, and because there's some business I need to take care of out there, so I think I'm going to get a view of it firsthand. But, man, I don't think it's going to be the Malibu you and I know because we lived out there for, 2 years?
Yep.
And then your mother lives in Thousand Oaks. She didn't get evacuated because the winds came in and shifted that fire off course, but she was right in harm's way. She got lucky, but so many people were very unfortunate.
Yes.
And you're from here. I mean, it's going to be interesting because I never in a million years, living here for 15 years, would thought, that Thousand Oaks, Malibu, that whole area would be on fire.
Me either.
Well, devastation's crazy, man. It's like, man, if you're on the East Coast, down there in the Gulf Coast, hurricanes, tornadoes, out there on the West Coast, fires and earthquakes, but it's all devastation. But let's leave it on a high note. Callie's chewing some shit up. I'm taking my illustrious wife, Kristen, to sushi tonight.
Yay.
Because after being sober for 32 days, I get a fucking cheat meal. So I'm going to go and eat a shit pile of sushi tonight. Anyway.
A lot of people would not consider that a cheat meal, but
it is a cheat meal. I'm going to eat every bit of sushi they got. And so anyway, trying to straighten out all the rumors about that alcohol shit. I just quit drinking to get back in shape. That's it. Then I'll start back responsibly. I do DDP yoga. I swear by it and stand by it. And yeah, the medicinal marijuana. There's a lot of people in LA smoking that shit. It ain't me. Goodbye. Most of us are brushing our teeth wrong. You might not want to believe it, but it is true. Not for long enough or just forgetting to change the brush on time. Well, get your act together because QUIP is changing the game with their electric toothbrushes designed to make brushing your teeth more simple, affordable, and hell, even enjoyable. So what makes QUIP so different? Well, QUIP features a built-in timer to help you clean for the dentist recommended 2 minutes with guiding pulses that remind you when to switch sides. And QUIP automatically delivers brush heads on the dentist recommended schedule every 3 months for just $5. I've been using my QUIP toothbrush, and when you're brushing, you don't realize how long it is that you should brush on one side. It's a long damn time. But that QUIP gimmick, it'll just stop for a second, and then you know to change sides. It's uncanny. And the special adhesive holder easily sticks to my mirror. You don't even have to get it wet. QUIP starts at just $25. And for all you Steve Austin Show listeners, if you go to getquip.com/Steve Austin right now, you'll get your first refill pack free with the QUIP electric toothbrush. Again, that's your first refill pack free at getquip.com/Steve Austin. GETQUIP.com/Steve Austin. Do it for your damn teeth. All right, let's talk a little bit about DDP Yoga, because you guys been hearing me flap my gums about doing DDP Yoga, and you know that way back in June, Diamond Dallas Page, my good friend, my former roommate, my travel partner, came down to 317 Gimmick Street and put me through a workout. And I dug the workout so much, I decided, hey, man, I'm just going to go ahead and commit, stick with this sumbitch, and see what it does. And I'm feeling the difference, and that's the bottom line. Listen to me. DDPY has already transformed the lives, not just myself, but superstars like Mick Foley, who's lost over 100 pounds, Chris Jericho, who uses DDP Yoga to help him keep kicking ass at 47 years young. It's also been used by AJ Styles, Goldust, Edge, Jake the Snake Roberts, and Scott Hall, just to name a few. And you might have even heard Drew McIntyre and Bobby Fish are two of the latest to take up DDPY to help with their injuries. Here's the thing. Dallas has given everyone 7 days free to try the DDP Yoga Now app and see for yourself how life-changing this program can be. That is a week to try the program. You explore the app, dig all the content, the motivational stuff, the technique, make it your own, and own your life, and it's completely free. Get started at ddpyoga.com/Austin. The beauty of DDPY is that it's not just for superstars and athletes, it's for everyone. No matter what your weight, your fitness level, your age, you make the DDPY workouts your own and modify to your level. Listen, DDP is a kick-ass cardio workout. It's going to dramatically increase your flexibility. It's going to strengthen your core like never before, all with minimal joint impact. The app starts you off slow, based off your skill level. Dallas had me start with the beginner, and even some of those positions kick my ass, but everything can be modified. Hell, I used a chair and a block for balance and stability, and now that I've gotten past that, I ain't using nothing. I'm using the program, but I don't need the chair or the block. But you modify it to work for you. Using the app each week, I can tell you that there's a ton in there to keep you on track. That's the thing, staying on track, being consistent. DDP himself is on the app to keep you focused on your goals and maps out the workouts that you can do. The best part is how easy it makes keeping track of everything. When I do my workout, I just connect a Bluetooth heart rate monitor, and it logs all my workout data and calories burned. And it's really easy to get the app to cast or stream on your TV so you can get your workouts on the big screen. The DDP Yoga Now app is killer, and I've been recommending it to everybody. And what's also great is that anyone can do it. It doesn't matter your age, weight, or fitness level. You make the DDPY workout your own. You get access to all of that free for a week. And if you don't like it, which I can't imagine you wouldn't, you can cancel it and still keep all of your information when you're ready to try it again. And for those baby boomers out there who need a little extra modification, Dallas has introduced the DDPY Rebuild DVDs. These DDPY workouts for those with limited mobility. All the workouts have you in the bed or using a chair so you can still get moving and build strength and improve flexibility. And yes, you can also find DDPY Rebuild on the DDPY app. Just in time for Black Friday, DDP is offering 30% off their biggest discount ever on the DDPY workouts in the DDP Yoga Now app. The huge Black Friday sale is happening from November 19th to 30th, so don't miss your chance to get started with the program before the holidays. And yes, you'll still get 3 months free on the app with any DVD program purchase or 7 days free on any app subscription. Get this special discount at ddpyoga.com/Austin. You know what? Hold on for a second. To hell with that. As soon as you hear my voice reading you this commercial, that means it's Black Friday. If it's 5 days, 6 days early, if you've heard my voice, tell them Austin sent you, and it's Black Friday right now. If you're struggling to get motivated to start the DDPY program, make sure you pre-order DDP's upcoming book, Positively Unstoppable, The Art of Owning It. Filled with lessons from Page's life to share his own struggle to find his calling, overcoming one obstacle after another. Positively Unstoppable is a guidebook for anyone who needs to be re-inspired to follow their dreams and take real action towards the things that matter most to them. And it makes a great gift for any DDP fans in your life. Positively Unstoppable will be released January 15, 2019 and is available for pre-order anywhere books are sold. All right, everybody, give me the go-home cue. It's time to wrap up this podcast, ride off in the sunset. I want to thank Dr. Tom Prichard for joining me on the podcast as we wrapped up our two-part conversation. I want to thank my illustrious wife, Kristen, for putting up with my ass for 14 years and chipping in on the second half of the podcast as I put the rumors to bed about all this bullshit with me stopping drinking and smoking dope and all this other horse shit. Anyway, while I'm talking about that, I got the best beer in the world, Broken Skull IPA from El Segundo Brewing Company. You can find Broken Skull IPA at Whole Foods and Total Wines if you're in SoCal. If you ain't in SoCal, you probably shit out of luck. Look for it online and see if you can order it, but this is an IPA that will knock your socks off. If you're looking for a badass pocket knife, I got two of them, Cold Steel Broken Skull knife and Cold Steel Working Man knife. Find them at my Amazon store. Amazon got the best price on both knives. Just go to amazon.com/shop/Steve Austin. I want to say one more thank you to all the fine sponsors of the Steve Austin Show, especially BetOnline.ag, Theraworx, QUIP Toothbrushes, DDP Yoga, and Geico. That's how I'm able to do this podcast for you twice a week for free. Please support them because they support us. If you need more info on my sponsors, check out the show description to this episode for details. Folks, I am on social media, Twitter and Instagram at Steve Austin, BSR. Till next time, folks, my name is Steve Austin, and I will catch your ass down the road.
This has been a Podcast One production. Download new episodes of The Steve Austin Show every Tuesday at PodcastOne.com. That's PodcastOne.com.
Before we ride off, a quick message from our friends at Geico. Go to Geico.com, and in 15 minutes, you can be saving 15% or more on car insurance. That's right, save hundreds of dollars on car insurance at Geico.com. Extra money in your pocket? It may just be the most rewarding thing you do today.